All right, so in the last lesson, we made it so that we can register new users using Firebase authentication. So what I want to do in this lesson is go ahead and make our password and confirm password green and red checks here, right? So this is kind of just a nice little UI enhancement so that the user knows for sure that their passwords are matching before they try to register their user, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. First thing we're going to need to do is add in the outlets for those two images. So I'm going to hold Option and click on our login storyboard to bring up our assistant editor. And then looks like we got a little bit of a problem with the storyboard. So I'm going to close that. Let's just try opening it directly. There we go. Then I'm going to open up the register view controller in our assistant editor. And we need to grab this. Make sure we have the check here. So this is our password check. So I'm going to call this pass image check. Okay. Or I'm going to say pass check image. I think that's better. Check image. I'm going to say connect. And the same thing for the second one. This is going to be our confirm pass check image, and say connect. Very good. So now we have these our two outlets for these. And before we go any further, actually, let's go ahead and set up our activity indicator to work. All right. So coming back to our register vc.swift file. When we click on register, we want to start the activity indicator. Actually, let's not start it until after we have made sure that our fields are filled out correctly. So after the guard here, we're going to say activity indicator dot start animating. And then down here, after we have finished successfully, we're going to say activity indicator dot stop animating. All right, very good. So now our activity indicator is working. Oh, we are in a closure though, so I gotta say self. And another thing that I wanted to do is fix this right here. It's not wrong, but what I like to do is I don't like the exclamation points for the opposites of these methods. So for instance, email.isEmpty. If I want to do a check for it not being empty, I don't like doing this exclamation is empty. It's not very readable. You have to stop and think about it for just a split second, and over time that adds up. So what I like to do is I like to create an extension for that string. So I'm going to come up here to shared, and we're going to create a new group. I'm going to call this utils for utilities. And inside of that, I'm going to create a new file, and that's just going to be a Swift file. I'm going to say next. And I'm going to call this extensions and say create. Okay, so with extensions, what we can do is we can extend the functionality of pretty much any base class. All right, so I'm going to extend the string class, and we're going to create a new variable that will be part of any string that we can call in any of our files called is not empty. Okay, and this is going to be a bool, and we're just going to return the opposite of the isEmpty property of the string. Okay, so what this does for us is now I can come back in here to our register VC, and I can get rid of this, and I can change this to is not empty, is not empty, and is not empty. So I think that is a lot more readable. So instead of saying where the not email.isEmpty or where not username.isEmpty, now we can simply read like you would or say in normal English, email.isNotEmpty. All right, so I think that is so much more readable, and I really wish that that was part of the Swift standard library like in Kotlin, if you've done any coding in Kotlin, they try to have this symmetry for almost all of the properties. You'll see is not empty, is not true, is not whatever for any property that has the is attribute as well. So I really like that about Kotlin. But we can do the same thing on our own here in Swift using extensions. All right, so I like that trick. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so now back to the task at hand of getting our password match images to work. Let's think about what we want to have happen. I'm going to open up our simulator again. So we need to know anytime either of these text fields change so that we can write code accordingly, okay? So you may think we could probably do this with a text field delegate. And you're close. So let me show you. So if we add UI text field delegate, and we were to set that delegate for each of our text fields, say if I do the confirm past text dot delegate is equal to self, we have some methods available to us through this. So we have text field. And these are the methods that we have. We have text field did end editing, begin editing, clear, return, and end editing, etc. But none of these is quite what we need. So if all you needed to know was when it began or ended editing, sure, you could do this. But what we need to know is every time a keystroke happens in that text field, okay? So we need to know every time it changes, and that's not available using the UI text field delegate. But what we can do is kind of write that ourselves using what are called UI control events and the add target method, okay? So if you take a look at the UI text field, you can see that it inherits from a UI control. And if we open up a UI control, we can see that this is the base class for controls, which are visual elements that convey a specific action or intention in response to user interactions. Okay, so most of the UI elements inherit from this UI control. And the UI since it inherits from a UI control, what we can do is we can say confirm pass text. Let's do the regular pass text first. So password text dot add target. Okay, so this associates a target object and action method with the control. And we have these three parameters. We have the target, the action, and a control event that we want to listen to. Okay. And so what we are doing basically is if we click on add target, it shows here, it says again that it associates a target object. So the target object is our view controller. So I'm going to say self, and we associate this target object and an action with the control. The control is our password text field. The target object is the view controller, and an action method we need to define. So we're going to say at objc, and we're going to create this function that is going to be called every time a UI control event that we specify is called, okay? And so we're going to call this text field did change. And as a parameter, we are going to have the text field and a UI text field here. Okay, so we'll get into this in a second, but let's go ahead and assign this selector. Okay, so looking back here again, we can see our parameters. The target object is the object whose action method is called. Okay, so we've already said that the target is the view controller, and the action method here is a selector identifying the action method to be called. And that is, we say hashtag or pound selector, and then text field did change. All right, so here is the important part, the UI control event. All right, so we can say UI control dot event, and if we click on event here, let's see here, it says that these are constants describing the types of events possible for controls. So let's go ahead and click on the open in developer documentation, and we can see all of these events that we can listen for. Okay. So we have things like touchdown, drag inside, etc. The ones that we are interested in are right here. Editing, did begin, editing, changed. Okay, so did begin, did end. Those are the ones that were available to us using the UI text field delegate. But we need this one here, the editing changed. A touch making an editing change in a UI text field object. All right, perfect. So that's the one we need. We can say UI control.event.editing changed. Very good. So now every time we change in the text field for password text, this function here is going to be called. And to show that, let's just go ahead and print out I got typed in. All right, and let's save that and run it. And let's come over here to create new user, and every time I type, we should see, there we go, printed out, I got typed in. All right, so we know that's working. Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and stop that, and let's go ahead and add that target to confirm pass text as well. So I just copied this one and changed the text field that we are adding the target to. All right, so now both of those text fields, every time that either is typed in, we are going to call this method. All right, so what do we want to have happen? We want to make it so when the passwords match, the check marks turn green. Okay, pretty simple. So we say if password text.text is equal to the confirm pass text.text. So if text in both of them match, we're going to set our images to be the green checkmark image. So we just say pass check image dot image is equal to, and then we say UI image named, and we give it the string of the name of the image, in which case is green underscore check, and you can see that in your assets folder. And then the same thing here for the confirm pass check image. We say confirm pass check image dot image is equal to UI image named, and again, green underscore check. Else, if they don't match, then we want them to be the red. So I'm just going to copy that and change this to red check and red check. All right, so let's save that and run it. Go to create new user. I'm going to type in here 123 and 123, and nothing is happening. So let's see what's going on. Oh, I know why, because we said to hide those. All right, so we want to show them when we start typing. So I think it makes sense that we only show the check marks once we start typing in the confirm password. Okay, so if you're typing your password, we don't want the red marks showing already because we haven't even started typing in here. So once we start typing in here, then we'll show the red check marks. So we're gonna say, if the text field, which is this parameter right here that we have, if the text field is equal to the confirm pass text, so this is just saying if we have started typing in the confirm pass text field. So if we're typing there, then we're going to show both of the images. So I'm going to say pass check image dot is hidden is equal to true, or false, I should say. We want to show it. So is hidden is false. And then we're going to say confirm pass check image dot is hidden is equal to false. And let's try that again. Create new user. And let's go here, 123, 123, and then start typing, and we should see the red ones show up. Perfect, 123, 123, and now they're green. Hey, look at that. If I keep going, then it goes back to red. Very good. All right, so this is looking pretty good. We're almost there. One thing though is that I think if you delete your password here, then we should probably clear out this password as well and hide these. So to do that, we're going to say else if the password text becomes empty, Then we are going to do what I just said. We're going to clear out the confirm password text field and hide the images. So we need to get the text out of the password text field. So we're going to say guard let pass text equal to password text dot text else return. And here we now have the password text. So I'm going to say if pass text dot is empty, then we are going to say pass check image dot is hidden is equal to true. So we're going to hide them. Confirm pass check image dot is hidden is equal to true. And finally, we're going to clear out the confirm pass text by saying confirm pass text dot text is equal to an empty string. And we're going to save that and run it, and that should be good for us. All right, create new user, password 123123, confirm password 123123. Very good, we're green. If we keep going, it turns back to red. If we delete this, that's fine. But if we delete this one, there we go, we clear out both and hide the images. Perfect. All right, so that is great. What we learned in this lesson is about controls and how we can add targets and actions to our controls using this pattern of add target, where you specify the target object, usually the view controller, set an action to be called for a specific UI control event. So I hope you enjoyed adding that little user experience enhancement. Feel free to use it in all of your login process in your apps, and I will see you in the next one.